911 operators, what call scares you till this day? Former 911 operator here. Sometimes the calls that stick with you aren't the most physically traumatic. I once had a call from a 17-year-old kid who came home from a sleepover to find that his mother had moved. Just packed up his sister and everything in the house and left while he was gone with no forwarding address or information. She also turned off his cell phone that morning, so literally the only number he could call was 911. He was trying so hard not to cry and his voice was shaking as he kept apologizing to me for calling 911. He just didn't know what else to do and had no other family. She also took everything, so all he had was a couple of things that he had taken to the friend's house. He told me his 18th birthday was in a couple of weeks and he literally had nothing. The officers that responded took him to a shelter. I think about him often and I hope he's okay. Even if he was a kid who got in trouble or had behavioral issues, I can't imagine coming home to find your mother has abandoned you. This one truly got me. Absolutely heartbreaking. Pardon my French, but that mum's a bitch. Not one specific call, but suicide calls where the caller has no interest in seeking help but just wanting the police to find them before their family does. Knowing you're likely the last person to speak to someone and there's nothing you can do to help is pretty rough. A guy in my neighborhood killed his whole family, then called 911 and told them what he had done before killing himself. I always wondered what it was like for the person who took that call and the cops who showed up to find the scene. I knew the son pretty well. I was on my way to school that morning when the cops were rolling in and blocking off the street. Depends on the person taking the call. I could deal with the situations as they happened, but it started to wear on me after a few years, so I switched jobs. There were some people I worked with that walked off the job during training after taking a rough call for the first time. Then there are others that have done it for years and are either able to handle mentally or end up like those call takers that make the news sounding uncaring or impatient with people who are just trying to seek help on the worst day of their lives. Family member worked as police dispatcher. Received a call from an elderly woman. Her husband had just been killed in their garage by an intruder. She heard it happening. She's wheelchair bound but phone was next to her. She frantically begged my family member to help her. While he was on the phone with her, the criminal cut her throat. My family member stayed on the line 3 more minutes until cops got there. He could hear the sounds of the attack, her gasping and gurgling noises. He kept telling her help was coming and to hold on. Amazingly, she survived. Criminal was later caught. A 17-year-old who just wanted the thrill of killing someone and picked them at random. He's on death row now. It's horrible that people just want to kill for pleasure. Good to know that she survived. I was a 911 operator. When I asked for the address, I got an angry man yelling, "Just get the fucking ambulance here." When I asked what happened, the caller said, "You don't need to fucking know that. I just need to know what happened so I know who to send and what equipment to bring, sir. Just send a goddamn ambulance, my kid's having a seizure. Don't send any fucking police." Don't send police coming from a caller is basically them telling on themselves. Please send police, because the patient or the EMS crew or both could be in danger. So I passed a note to my partner, who was dispatching, "Send PD. Extremely uncooperative caller." I tried my best to get through the rest of the questions. How old is the kid? Are they conscious? Are they breathing? Has the seizing stopped? Etc. I got nothing but verbal abuse. All I knew is that a pediatric patient had a seizure when the call started. There was yelling in the background, and there was some terrible yelling in the foreground. "Put your hands up. Hey, what the fuck, bitch?" And that was it. Police had the caller. The patient ended up being a toddler, who had been beaten to within an inch of their life by that asshole. That was terrifying and sad, and I hugged my own kid a little tighter that night. Not scared, just kinda haunted. This past Mother's Day, I had a teenage boy calling because he found his mother overdosed and dead. The sobbing as he called out "Mom, Mom," still makes me tear up. Every call where someone is reporting an unresponsive relative. Some will let you walk them through the CPR process if they don't know it, some won't. Every one of them you hear the caller at some point pleading with the patient to not leave them. Most times they do though. Parents, spouses, children, I've had them all call. Never gets easier. My husband died of a sudden heart attack. I feel terrible for the 911 operator who took my call. He had passed by the time paramedics got there, so the guy on the phone with me had to listen to me scream and cry and beg. I cannot imagine having to hear that at my job. The fact that you are concerned with how your worst moment affected someone else says a lot about you as a person. Thank you for being the kind of person we should all aspire to be. Internet hugs from a stranger. Edit. Thank you, but please stop giving me awards. It's a waste of your hard-earned money. Donate to an animal charity or homeless shelter. I think the mega corporations that own Reddit have enough dollar. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this one.